You ever wanted the Titan playstyle, but on Warlock? To just dive headfirst into the enemy and take out as many as possible as quickly as you can? Then here's my Inmost Synthos build for Warlock. Warning, this build is 100% high risk hardware. You may die a whole lot trying to attempt this. Not responsible for any and all deaths in GM content. The most fundamental perk for this build is Spirit of Synthoceps, which can be acquired on the exotic class item Solipsism. If you don't have the perk, the Spirit of Inmost Light to pair with Synthos, that's okay. Other options are Spirit of the Assassin, the Necrotic, or even Apotheosis. And you'll want to be on the Prismatic subclass.
Oh wow, didn't see that coming.
The aspects you'll want to be running are Feed the Void and Lightning Surge. Always pair the aspect Lightning Surge with the melee ability, Arcane Needle. With this pairing, you'll be able to use up to 3 Lightning Surge slides in a row. My grenade preference is Cold Snap, and for 2 reasons. First reason, the grenade worked perfectly against unstoppable champions, stunning them. Second reason, when paired with the Fragment, Fast Have Courage, your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets affected with Darkness Seed buffs. Using one of these 3 light-based supers is also recommended. I use Song of Flame for most GMs. Class ability I use is Phoenix Dive for the fastest cooldown. The other fragment I'd highly recommend Facet of Protection and Facet of Dawn. This build thrives on being surrounded. With Facet of Protection, you have more damage resistance while surrounded, even more so while transcended, plus 10 to strength also. With Facet of Dawn, powered melee hits against targets make you radiant, which gives a 25% weapon damage buff. Also, your other weapons that don't have an anti-champion modifier can now stun barrier champions. The last 2 facets are up to you, so the build benefits greatly from being transcendent. To help us gain more energy for it, one of the weapons you could use is the Aerial Denial Frame grenade launcher, like VS Velocity Baton or Law Signal. Also, if you're feeling confident, use 2 special weapons, since you can add clear with your abilities. Your other weapons honestly depend on what GM you're running and the champions you'll face. Half the time, I love using a shotgun with the perk Trench Barrel to pair nicely with me starting with my melee ability. Shotguns are also anti-barrier thanks to this artifact this episode. The rest of the artifact perks are up to you and your preference.
Now onto mods. For your helmet,
You can use Hand-On to gain super energy on all your melee defeats. There's also Siphons, produce orbs on your weapon defeats. For arms, I pretty much use 2 heavy-handed mods, so every 5 seconds I can produce an orb of power for melee file blows. For chest, I use 3 of the resistances matching the threat in the GM you're attempting. For legs, I run a scavenger mod with a matching element as my heavy weapon. Orbs of Restoration, so picking up an orb grants 10% ability energy to the ability with the least current charge. And Recuperation, you replenish 1/3 of my total health or 70 hit points each time you pick up an orb. Last item, I use Reaper. After using my class ability, my next weapon defeat within 10 seconds produces an orb. Proximity Ward, so every time I use a finisher on an enemy, I'm immortal during its animation. And finally, Special Finisher. When I have 3 stacks of armor charge, using a finisher produces special ammo for the whole fire team. And lastly, onto stats. Always, make resilience your first stat to be 100. Tier 10 provides 30% damage resistance, and if you're not staying alive, then none of your build even matters. My next stat choice is Strength. That way I can use my melee ability as often as I can. Next I go with Recovery, solely for the increased class ability recharge. Since we're using the aspect Feed the Void and Gain Devour, it negates our need of Discipline. Here are some tips. Use your abilities and Aerial Denial GL often. Don't be bashful about it. You'll almost always have an ability ready to go. Once either your super or transcendence is fully charged, use them. Sometimes they'll feed perfectly into another, and you'll just be going back and forth with them. It's the whole build. Thanks so much for anyone who made it to the end of the video. Enjoy the build? Let me know with either a like and or a comment of what you think. If you didn't enjoy the video, you can always hit the dislike, but it's not like anyone will ever know except for me. And I will never forget who you are. If you want to see more videos in the future, be sure to subscribe. I'm hoping to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube one day, and I can't do it without you, because I'm literally not going to ever create new accounts just to subscribe to myself. Deuces.